movie.
Cool.
Outside the theater. That means in our home. So we were just browsing casually, and we came across this movie.
I would say that it was super cash.
Called Palm Springs. Now, I had come across this on Hulu more than once, and I thought from the image and the name Palm Springs, I was like, this looks dumb. I don't want to see it. I think it's about, some younger adults, but not, like teens or anything. And
thank God Sanity, a.k.a. Kelsey, prevailed.
Well, what happened is Kelsey recognized one of the people as Andy Samberg, who he loves.
Who I know is Jake Peralta.
Who we're currently going through Brooklyn Nine-Nine because we had never seen it, and we're about like halfway through all those seasons.
And Hot Rod.
And we've liked Andy Samberg. I haven't liked everything he's done, but I do like his general comedy style. And so he recognized him, and I was like, oh, that is Andy Samberg. So then we watched a trailer for it, and the trailer looked interesting, and then it said it was certified fresh, 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. 100%. And I took it at its word, and so here we are. We watched this movie, Palm Springs, starring Andy Samberg and Cristin Miliotti. I think that's how you say her last name. I'm not really sure. You don't come here for the names, because we never know names.
You know that we don't know stuff.
And this is a Groundhog Day type movie. What did he call it in there? Andy Samberg's character called it it's one of those infinite time loop things.
Guess you followed me. It's one of those infinite time loop situations you might have heard about.
That I might have heard about?
Yeah.
So yeah, and Groundhog Day is a very interesting movie, and this movie, I would say, delivered on that. Yeah. I thought it was thoughtful. I thought it was insightful. I thought they really fleshed out the characters and had them kind of deal with this on a deeper level. So it wasn't just just some romantic comedy type movie. I thought it had some substance to it. Go wait or skip, Kels.
I think you should go see this movie. I thought that the movie was very smart. It was a good comedy. It had a lot of depth to it. The premise was interesting and noteworthy, and I thought the performances were stellar. Go see this movie, Dormammu. Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
All right. Well, that was almost an infinite time loop, too.
Nice. I know. Oh, I know.
I thought you were just connecting how you stammered on the word movie, but...
I stammered because I wanted to say the word Dormammu.
Dormammu? Okay, that's why it was similar. I'm also going to say go see this movie. I thought it was really well done. It was funny, but it was thoughtful. It had substance. I liked Andy Samberg in it. I've seen Cristin Miliotti in other things, and I liked her in this. I liked the two of them together.
Yeah.
I thought it wasn't... Based on the way the thing looked and being named Palm Springs, I just thought it was going to be about, a couple of adults who, get drunk and, party and do all... Now, they did do that in this movie. That happened to be their characters. I guess it was their default for how they deal with life, right? But through being stuck in an infinite time loop, they learned and grew within the movie, and I like that. Spoilers! Because this movie involves the infinite time loop thing, it will kind of my brain was a little and then after the movie I was like, wait a minute, what happened? They live the same day over and over again, and then at the end when she figures out a way to get out of this loop, she finishes her last day, she's the good maid of honor, the good big sister. She treats people, she's had this tremendous character arc, right? She's grown. But that was well, wait a minute, are these people even real in this loop? Because when they leave the loop, there's a third person, kind of a comedic element, but also added substance to the movie, Roy, who is still in it. And he goes and sees Andy Samberg's character, who now doesn't remember him. And I was like, well, how does that work? He went back to does it even matter what they did on the last day that they were in there?
I don't know.
Did her sister remember the last day?
When the movie ended, I thought that the movie should have ended after the thing that blew up, and they should have just left it there.
No,
I thought that would have been a
everybody
perfect
hates
ending,
that.
because then you wouldn't really know what happened to the characters. You would get to make that determination yourself. However, obviously, they did not call me to ask my opinion about this.
I really liked the way that they ended it because it ended on a comedic note.
It was funny. Yeah, I mean, I
So,
liked it.
I
thought
felt
it was
like you had the two
a near
characters
perfect movie.
who had grown a lot, but they were also kind of still themselves. And these were two people who, you know,
Man, I get these type of people. The type of people
they weren't
that,
ambitious. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't
when
out there like
they hit the stress of life. They're like, you know what? Let's just screw off. I get this kind of human being. This is, you know what I mean? Like, I get this. These people. These are my people. And so I felt like I could understand.
They were not Rachel. So this is not how Rachel like would operate. Like it's just it's not. And so like the perfect thing was how the movie ended. They went back to the house, right? Because they don't know if the day, I guess, if it's a new day or the same day. They're at this house they would go visit. He called it like his safe house. And then the people showed up who owned the house. It was their house, you know.
It was funny.
And so, like, it was funny. You will never in my whole life ever, like, see me just hanging out at somebody's, like, house while they're on a stranger's house while on their vacation, hanging out in their pool, and then get caught by them, like, when they come back. I would have heard their car. I would have heard I would have, you know, whatever. I don't think that would ever happen to me. What else about this movie?
You also wouldn't have, like, done all the drugs.
I wouldn't have done all the drugs.
I'd have been doing all the drugs.
Probably
an
like
infinite time loop. I would like to say that I've grown past that, but an infinite time loop, would that be the thing that my addict brain needed? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Well, here's the thing that I thought that came up for me in this movie with the infinite time loop.
There's no consequences with the infinite time loop, because you
But
can
there
die,
is.
but then you come back.
Or you're saying God doesn't exist in your infinite time loop?
Oh, I'm just
Here's
saying
what came
there's
up
no
for
like
me.
addiction consequences.
Here's what came up for me
Like, physically.
was I felt like if I were in an infinite time loop, for somebody like me who is constantly trying to get value through the things that I do, or people pleasing, or however many things I fix, an infinite time loop really just takes that out of the equation. And what am I left with? Me. I'm left with me. And
the best thing.
I gotta like figure like that out. And I felt like, oh wow, what an opportunity to be stuck in an infinite time loop and get to like living like in the present moment and just like letting go of the attachment to like, oh, what's tomorrow gonna be? Or ruminating on things of the past, right? Like just being like in that thing. And to me, like I felt like it would help me grow a lot.
For me, I just feel like I would probably within 2 to 3 days, I would probably reach spiritual perfection, and probably at that point, I would just be assumed.
Right, probably.
You know?
I imagine. I mean, you did just say you would just do drugs, but
I said I would like to think that I wouldn't, and now I'm saying instead of doing that, I have to think about that. It's probably not.
But
I'm
I
probably
think
not
it
going
would,
in an
it would
infinite
help
time
me
loop.
detach from stuff that's less important and instead be focused on what is important, which is me in the present with my higher power. And yeah, like, I don't know. That's what it brought up for me. So these people clearly came into the infinite time loop, maybe in a different place in their life where neither of them, it didn't seem like either character liked themselves very much at all. They were already making, like, you know, self-destructive choices in their lives.
You see, I can identify with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I totally get that. So I think I thought it was a good movie. I liked seeing the growth, and I thought Andy Samberg's character, like, I can't remember his name, but his character, Niles at one point in the movie says, because she's like, there are no consequences, and she had just like hit somebody with a car and they were half alive and all this stuff, and he's like, no, the other stuff doesn't like stick, right? He goes, but what you do, you remember all that and you take that with you. And I thought that was really profound. So even though every day was the same thing and people like, you know, her dad showed up every morning. It's a beautiful day for a wedding. Like all this stuff. What was important was what she did, because they didn't forget that stuff. It stayed with them day after day.
Yeah.
So
Poignant,
it was
poignant, powerful buzzwords.
You needed a third P.
The only one I could think of is one you didn't want me to say.
Okay.
It's true.
On that note, the movie is rated R, so it had a couple scenes that were a little too much for Rachel, and so just throwing that out there while you think of words that start with P that you can't say on Rachelsey at the movies.
Vagina. What? You can't say vagina on our show. It's not even a word, but you can't say it.